and welcome to Cindy's Financial Corner. I'm Cindy Kumjian. From massive unemployment to stock market volatility, it often feels as though there are invisible forces that affect our money. You are not wrong. There are indeed hidden forces that work behind the scenes, which, if you're not aware of them, may negatively impact your financial future. In my opinion, the key to navigating these intersecting and overlapping market forces must begin with financial literacy. According to Will Kenton, writing for Investopedia, financial literacy is defined in terms of our ability to understand and effectively apply various financial skills, including personal financial management, budgeting, and investing. This rather simple definition needs to be broadened to include historical, social, political, and economic forces that directly or indirectly influence your investment dollars. It was the American philosopher George Santayana who said, "Those who do not learn history are doomed to repeat it." Understanding history may help us avoid the mistakes of the past. For example, what role did greed and corruption play in creating wealth for a select few? This brings us to the Gilded Age, which was a period of time between 1876 and World War I. This was a time of uncontrolled greed. Consider that by 1890, more than 70% of America's personal wealth was concentrated and controlled by the top 9% of families. This according to Robert Gallman of the University of North Carolina. Now, you might think that this was a long time ago and wealth today is far more equally distributed, but things have gotten worse today. According to Greg Leeserson of the Washington Center for Equitable Growth, in 2019, the wealthiest 1% of families controlled about 40% of the wealth, and the bottom 90% of families held less than 1/4 of all the wealth. Those who created vast amounts of wealth during the Gilded Age became known as robber barons. Men such as John D. Rockefeller, Andrew Carnegie, and J.P. Morgan amassed vast amounts of wealth through greed and corruption, and they controlled the political landscape and economic reality of their time. While it's tempting to dismiss the Gilded Age as something that belongs in history books, it is important to remember, though, that we are today living through a similar period of excess wealth for the very few. Many economists and historians identify the digital revolution of today as the Gilded Age of 2.0. The parallels between the past and today are both striking and disturbing. Both periods experience unprecedented technological change. The telephone today has been replaced with the smartphone. The photograph is now the digital music apps. Newspapers and books have been replaced with instantaneous access to information in our pockets or on our wrists. The internal combustion engine is disappearing in favor of clean electric vehicles. The Vanderbilts, Morgans, Rockefellers, and Carnegies of the past are today represented by Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, and Bill Gates today. Our new Gilded Age is beautiful to look at on the outside, but if we inspect more carefully, we will find massive inequality between those who are on the forefront of the digital revolution and everyone else. In terms of the trappings of wealth and the display of material excess, the wealthy elites of today are the mirror image of the first Gilded Age. In addition to the hidden historical forces, there are also powerful economic forces that influence your investment choices today. Take, for example, the traditional 60-40 portfolio strategy. Based on the modern portfolio theory, this model allocates 60% of your assets to stocks and 40% to bonds. This strategy was designed to minimize risk by placing a portion of your money in bonds while trying to generate a higher return from the riskier stock market. This combination is intended to offer a consistent rate of return even during periods of market volatility. The 60-40 strategy assumed an inversely correlated pair of asset classes. In other words, stocks and bonds were not expected to move together at the same time, but in opposite directions. Until recently, the 60-40 model was strongly predictive. This movement away from the inverse correlation negates the very reason some of us entrusted this diversification strategy. In today's globally interconnected world, the 60/40 portfolio is potentially broken and ineffective. In fact, according to Bank of America, Morgan Stanley, and JP Morgan, the 60/40 portfolio is dead. There are hidden economic forces which can invalidate inverse correlation. Some of those factors include interest rates, political instability, lack of economic growth, globalization, and more recently, the COVID-19 pandemic. In addition to the volatility of the stock market, many bonds today are paying close to zero, and there is a reason to believe the Federal Reserve will keep interest rates artificially low. The more you understand how these hidden forces impact your investment strategy, the more likely you will want to find a new investment model that may help you be prepared for the sudden market swings. If the two asset class 60/40 portfolio is potentially broken, then it may make sense to learn about different strategies that may potentially offer you better returns while managing risk. Here at Synergy Financial, we have the innovative multi-asset class realm model, which is designed to potentially offer you consistent growth while managing risk. Please give us a call at 714-210-0549 for a free consultation. When it comes to your money, knowledge is power. Thank you for watching.